Right before Christmas 2023 in San Antonio, Texas, a couple, 18-year-old Savannah Sodto and her 22-year-old boyfriend, Matthew Gata, vanished without a trace. They're expecting their first child together, with Savannah scheduled for an induced delivery at the hospital, but she never shows up.
I rode up right behind her, saw her screaming. I was like, okay, I know what this is.
What we're looking at right now is a very, very perplexing crime scene.
He was a narcissist. He knew how to manipulate her into believing things were going to be great.
She just started bleeding.
Here on the decoder.
She was due at the hospital to have her baby. She never showed up, and by the time anyone found her, the story police thought they were telling was already wrong.
So at just after 7:30 that evening, police arrive at her address to conduct a welfare check. They find her door broken open.
Police, anybody here? Show me hands. So we got a full hallway down here. It's out to the patio. Check the patio.
Police department.
Police. Oh, what you got there, Greg?
Police department.
Aside from the door, there's no other signs of anything?
Yeah. They're supposed to be induced when we check the hospitals.
Yeah, I think they've checked all that.
Nothing seems out of place in the apartment apart from the door. And Savannah's family have been calling around all the hospitals in the area. None of them have seen a patient by that name.
And like I told you when I worked at a hospital, if you're not...
For 2 days, nobody has answers. Then, on December 26th, someone looks through the window of an abandoned gray Kia parked outside an apartment complex and starts screaming. Inside are 2 bodies, Savannah in the front seat, Matthew in the back, both shot. The first theory investigators float is murder-suicide. And on paper, it almost fits. Family members had already told police that Matthew had a documented history of violence against Savannah, including a prior arrest for assault, and an active no-contact order the couple was allegedly violating just by being together. Savannah's mother told detectives plainly that Savannah had been assaulted before and hadn't always reported it. That hiding it from her family wasn't unusual.
We have possibly a murder-suicide we're following up on. We just found a missing person's vehicle with the 2 missing people inside. It's going to be obviously a homicide investigation, but I was told to notify the news office to have a heads up. But there's some sort of rigor already setting there. They've been not decomposed, but you could tell it's kind of seems like the bodies have been there for a couple of days. Appears to be gunshot wounds.
Savannah is found in the front seat with a gunshot wound to the head. Matthew's in the back seat. It looks like he's been shot in the head too, or shot himself. At least that's the officer's initial theory, a murder-suicide, especially with everything Savannah's family told them. But that theory quickly goes awry. There's no sign of the murder weapon, and Matthew appears to have been dragged into the car after his death. He's an innocent victim after all. This is a double murder, and the killer is still at large.
But then a detective leans into the car and the murder-suicide theory starts to collapse in real time. There's no weapon at the scene, and Matthew's body isn't sitting the way a man who shot himself would be sitting. He looks like he was moved, placed, after he was already dead.
Good afternoon. I'm Detective Jeremy Goodwin with the San Antonio Police Department Homicide.
Detective Goodwin is called to the scene to investigate.
The steering wheel had apparent blood on it, as well as the center console. As I looked up, as I'm kind of kneeling down looking up towards the visor, I observed what appeared to be a bullet defect near the driver visor of that.
Savannah was likely shot inside the car, but Matthew may not have been.
The back left tire, the sidewall of the tire had what I believe to be blood on the sidewall of the tire, and then inside the rim there appeared to be apparent blood inside the rim. It appeared to me that someone that had been bloody was placed against the tire, and the vehicle was driven after the blood had been placed there.
This isn't a murder-suicide. This is a double homicide, and whoever did it is still out there. Detective Jeremy Goodwin takes over the scene, and what he finds rewrites the case from the ground up. Blood on the steering wheel, blood pooled on the center console, a bullet defect near the driver's side visor, meaning someone was shot while sitting where the driver sits, and on the back tire, blood smeared into the sidewall and rim, as if a bleeding body had been pressed against it before the car was ever driven again. None of that fits a man who shot his pregnant girlfriend and then turned the gun on himself in the back seat.
Armed with these clues, the detectives then access local surveillance cameras overlooking the parking lot. At 11:59 p.m. on December 21st, a Chevrolet van is seen pulling in. The truck bed cover is at an angle, like there's something jamming it open. Then, Matthew's Kia is seen coming towards the truck.
So as a vehicle approached, another vehicle came, which appeared to be the victim's vehicle. It approached the truck with its lights off. The truck ends up turning its lights off as well. And then the driver of the truck gets out of the car and approaches the driver of the victim's vehicle.
The driver of the truck gets out, takes a white towel, and appears to wipe down the outside of the Kia door where he touched it.
What does the individual tell you?
He steps out, and when I observed that, it did not appear to be Matthew, as Matthew is very tall and lanky, and that individual did not appear to be that tall.
So investigators pull the surveillance footage, and the timeline they build from it is precise almost to the minute. At 11:59 p.m. on December 21st, a pickup truck pulls into a parking lot with its truck bed cover sitting at a strange angle, like something is jammed underneath it. Matthew's Kia arrives moments later, headlights off. The truck's headlights cut off too. A man gets out, wipes down the outside of the Kia's door with a white towel, and Goodwin notices something immediately. That's not Matthew. Matthew's tall. This guy isn't.
The drivers get back into the vehicle and drive behind the apartment building. 3.5 minutes later, the truck reappears.
Can you make any observations about the truck at this point?
Yes, ma'am. The bed of the truck is no longer angled. Doesn't appear off-center, but like I said, it appears flat.
As though whatever was in the truck bed, perhaps Matthew's body,
The vehicles disappear behind the building. 3.5 minutes later, the truck reappears, and the bed that was angled and uneven when it arrived is now sitting flat, like whatever was loaded into it has been left behind.
And what did you find through your research?
I found the residents of the location. The first one I found was Ramon Preciado.
Matthew's internet search history shows he searched Charlie Chan Drive that same day. That makes it likely it was Matthew who was driving before they got there. But as seen on CCTV, it wasn't Matthew who was driving just a few minutes after they left.
I was able to go to our driver's license database. I was able to view a photo of Ramon, and the listing on your DL has your height, your weight, and has a picture of you. He resembled the male observed getting out of the truck, very, very similar. Then I observed that he had a wife at the location, Myrto Romanos. And then I checked the databases and found that they had a son, Christopher Preciado, who resided at the location. Christopher was the same age or around the same age as Matthew and Savannah.
Cell phone data pins the Kia stopping at a specific address on Charlie Chan Drive that night, a location Matthew had personally searched on his phone earlier that same day. Investigators run the address and find a family living there: a father, a mother, and a 19-year-old son named Christopher Preciado, a pharmacy student, roughly the same age as Matthew and Savannah. They also find Matthew's messages. He'd been arranging a drug deal that night with an Instagram account, a deal that traced straight back to that address.
I didn't even look at the live, but it's playback and footage.
That footage, if it had been recorded, might have shown Matthew and Savannah leaving the address alive. Or it might have shown something far more disturbing.
On January 3rd, detectives show up at the Preciado home. Both father and son come out to meet them in the front yard, right next to a home security system that could have shown exactly what happened that night. The cameras were running. They just weren't recording.
The detectives bring Ramon and Christopher to the police department for separate interviews. Christopher is 19 and a student, majoring in pharmacy, and when he's left alone in the interrogation room, he starts to behave strangely. He pulls his chair in without touching it with his fingertips, like he's afraid of leaving evidence behind.
Live feed only. No footage saved. It's either the worst timing imaginable, or exactly what someone would want if they had something to hide. Christopher is brought in for questioning alone, and before he says a word, his body language gives detectives something to work with. He pulls his chair in without touching it, fingertips avoiding the metal, Like he's afraid of what he might leave behind.
I texted, what's his name? I don't know his actual name. What's your Instagram name? I deleted mine after the incident.
But this is a lie. His Instagram is still active.
I invest in cases where people were killed. Your dad already told me you were there. Christopher can't deny being there anymore. His father already placed him at the scene. So he pivots to a story. Instead, he says he barely knew Matthew online, that he deleted his own account after the messages stopped. It's a small lie, and it's disproven in seconds. His Instagram is still active, still visible, still full of contact with Matthew going back weeks.
So I was just opening the door. I was about to open the door. I go like this for my phone. I try to turn the flash on. And then as soon as he does that, he reacts. He goes like this, and he pulls the little gun on me. Okay. I didn't know what to do at that point.
According to Christopher, Matthew pulled his gun.
And then he kind of had it in my face, and I saw I was looking in there. There was already one in there. After he did that, I could tell he was about to pull it on me, so it was like this pretty much in my face. Mm-hmm. So I go like that, and then he pulls the trigger. Okay. And then they bring you into the back seat. I'm in the back seat. So he's pointing at you, so it goes off in the back seat. Yeah, well, not in the back seat, like I push it because I don't want it in my face, you know, I'm like this, so I go like that, and I kind of push it away, and I kind of duck down because I didn't want it to hit me.
But the bullet didn't hit Christopher, it hit Savannah.
She just started, like, bleeding. I can see she was bleeding right here. On her left side? I think so, yeah.
But there's a problem with this. Savannah was found with blood all down her right side, not her left.
So Christopher tries again, further this time. He says Matthew showed up that night agitated, on edge, rushing him into the car before Christopher was even ready. He says Savannah was in the car too, that Matthew was getting frustrated with her, telling her to be quiet. And then, he says, Matthew pulled a gun on him, pointed it in his face, and Christopher pushed it away right as it fired. I pushed it. I didn't want it in my face. That's when it went off. According to Christopher, the bullet hit Savannah on her left side. He says he panicked, checked if she was breathing, and then Matthew allegedly turned the gun on him again. And again, Christopher claims he pushed it away, and it fired a second time into Matthew. It's a clean story. Self-defense, twice, in the same car, in the dark. It's also completely wrong, and the evidence proves it within minutes. Savannah wasn't found with blood down her left side. It was her right. That's the problem. Your story and her body don't match.
There's an issue that I have with that, and that is blood on this cylinder. Okay? That shouldn't be there if you stay inside the car the whole time. Okay? There's also blood in the rims, which shouldn't be there. Did all of this come from whenever you and your dad were at the location? At Danny K? Did you guys take him out? No. Okay.
There were no drag marks on the car's entire console, and no blood on the front headrest where Matthew was supposedly sitting when he died.
This wound right here, that's called the contact wound. Right, so you pushed, it means that the gun was up against his head when he was shot. That's on the right side of his head.
And it only gets worse from there. Christopher claims he never left the car, that Matthew's body stayed in the back seat the entire time he drove it to the apartment complex and abandoned it. But there's blood inside the cylinder of the gun. Blood that shouldn't be there if the shooting happened the way he describes. There's blood inside the wheel rim. There are no drag marks anywhere along the car's console, and no blood on the headrest where Matthew was supposedly sitting when he died.
He was like, kind of going like that.
But Detective Goodwin can demonstrate that this can't be true.
This way, right? So if I'm driving here, and he's looking this way, if he's pulling here, he'd have to break it, like basically bend it all the way here to get the angle that we're talking about up on here, right? So I'm bringing my arm back to try to get that angle. So doing that is going to be hard to get a contact shot at the angle at the angle of a through and through with a defect by the visor.
Goodwin physically demonstrates the angle Christopher's story would require, reaching back, twisting his own arm to mimic a supposed self-defense push, and shows how the shot to Matthew's head, entering from the angle it did, simply could not have happened the way Christopher says it did.
So you don't have a gun, you don't know where his gun went. Yeah, where did his wallet go? What do you mean his wallet? Yeah, he didn't leave a wallet for him as well. Have I thought he took my money? I don't know. Did you?
The evidence tells its own story, and it's not the one you're telling me. Christopher has no gun to produce, no explanation for Matthew's missing wallet, no explanation for Savannah's missing purse. He can't say where the weapon went. He can't account for why, if he was terrified and just trying to survive, he calmly drove the vehicle away and parked it rather than calling for help. You don't know where his gun is. You don't know where his wallet is.
You took Matthew, and you took their unborn son. He didn't even have a chance to live. Not one day.
Matthew was my brother. He's my best friend. And I just want to say you are a very stupid person, and I can't believe you and your common attorney wasted everybody's time with that pathetic excuse of self-defense. I hope wherever you go, they know who you are.
But you know exactly where you parked the car, and there's someone else who doesn't add up either. Christopher's father, Raymond. He admits to driving the truck that night, admits to being the man on the surveillance footage, but home security footage recovered separately from Christopher's own account shows something he never mentioned. His mother is seen on camera searching the area for Matthew's car before both parents rushed to the truck together. Christopher told police he only called his father for help. The footage tells a different story about who else was involved and how fast the family moved once the shooting happened. Now think about who's actually caught in the middle of all this. Savannah was 18, full term, a nursery already built for a son she and Matthew had already named, Fabian. She never got to meet him. She never got the chance to leave a relationship her own mother says she'd finally decided to walk away from once the baby came. She spent her last hours of pregnancy in the back of a stranger's plan, and by the time her family found out anything was wrong, she was already gone. Investigators eventually pieced together a motive that flips Christopher's entire narrative. It wasn't Matthew trying to rob Christopher that night. It was the reverse. Jewelry visible on Matthew's neck and hands in earlier footage is missing from his body.
Count 1, capital murder, murder of more than one person in the same criminal transaction. Verdict form. We, the jury, find the defendant Christopher Ray Preciado guilty of the offense of capital murder as charged in count 1.